Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting on the DSA's website, and what I'm about to show you, I don't think you want to miss. You need to see this for your own clarity. So let's go to it. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm on the DSA USA's website. This is the About Us page, and we're just going to read about what this sentence has here. And look what it has here in the first sentence. It says, capitalism is a system designed by the owning class to exploit the rest of us for their own profit. Guys, that is a huge claim. There's literally one word in this sentence that is doing all of the work. And I'm telling you, everything on this page, from the About Us, the subscribe button, the you joining the team, the letters that they've written here, everything hangs on this one sentence being true. Because if it's not true, then everything gets shaky. And so there's one word here, and the one word that is doing all of the work is the word designed. And that word, it just does everything. It's doing 90-some% of all of the work here. And what I like about what I do is that I love to pause and take in what I'm reading. I like to stop when I hit a period. I like to go and see what did it say before, because here we can see it says capitalism. They're telling us is a system, and they're telling us that that system was designed by the owning class, and they said it was designed to exploit the rest of us. So you got the owning class, and then you got the rest of us. See how they're setting that up? But they're saying that it was designed by them. And so, guys, listen. They didn't say that it was evolved into this. They didn't say that it developed into this. They said that it was designed like somebody sat down and built exploitation into the blueprint, and that they did it on purpose. And when you exploit something, you are harming someone. So take that in, because this is a big claim. They have it here. They're telling you that it was designed by the owning class. And literal or not, somebody's wrong. If they meant it to be literal, then that means that every small business owner set out to exploit people. And then that brings us to another question. If every small business owner was set out to exploit people, then I want you guys to pause and think about the guy who's trying to build his coffee shop. What if he was some young man who made coffee and everybody loved the way he make his coffee, and people will line up outside of his home or his office whenever he made coffee outside of the break room to get some of, let's call him Steve's coffee. Is Steve a man who is working to exploit the people, or is Steve a man who God gave him this gift to make some of the best coffee that people had ever tasted, and it's requiring time of him, money, stress on him, and he's creating this and charging a small fee so that these people can have the coffee, because guess what? The coffee isn't free. There's nothing free in life. Even if we were to try to make everything free, somebody has to labor to go and uh, you know, farm the land to create the coffee beans. Somebody got to go dig it up. Somebody's got to transport it. Somebody's got to package it. All those things have to be done in order for Steve to get the coffee grains to make it for the people that love it. But here on the DSA's website, they're telling us that capitalism is a system that is designed by the owning class to exploit the rest of us. And I think that you guys need to pause here because designed means that it was set up. And again, that one word holds the entire page, everything on that page, the policy list, it all only makes sense if this opening line is true. They need for this opening line to be true. If this opening line is not true, then it all comes crumbling. So we're not checking whether capitalism is true or false here, if it's good or bad. We're just checking one word right now, and that is the word design. Because listen, guys, to say that capitalism is designed is to say that the Grand Canyon was also designed. And that, you know, the Grand Canyon was designed to exploit us. See, the Grand Canyon, nobody sat down with a blueprint and formed the Grand Canyon. It didn't come about that way. The Grand Canyon came about over thousands of years. Certain forces acting on a certain region within the United States of America over many years. And I'm talking about the wind acting on it, the rain acting on it, the sun, the people that are traveling through it, the animals that are traveling through it, the bugs that are there traveling through it, many forces acting on the land that help shape it what it is today. And the same is true for capitalism. Because if you were to go on Google right now and you were to type into Google and you were to ask Google, hey, was capitalism formed by a certain group of people to exploit us? And it's not going to be able to give you an answer for that. So we got to do our homework, and we can't just eat off of everybody's table when they put something before us. One of the biggest problems we have right now is that everybody wants to eat all from all of the plates that are being handed to them. Capitalism formed through many things. You needed first you had to have markets form, and then the markets had to expand. Trade had to form, and then trade had to expand. Inventors needed to invent things, and then you had to have people fail and succeed. You had to have government being formed, and government creating laws, and laws being taken away, and then you had to have banks and those institutions coming about, banks building and growing, and people buying in to this. So that the same thing that happened with the Grand Canyon, with different forces acting on it, capitalism needed the same thing. So there wasn't no one person that sat up there or a group of people that came together and designed it to exploit people. It took hundreds of years for capitalism to form and to become what it is today. So I just want you guys to understand that benefit doesn't equal design. And nobody accuses a lottery winner of designing the lottery. People succeed in systems and they fail in systems. Both happen at the same time. Somebody doing well under capitalism doesn't mean that they try to develop this business, or they join this system to exploit people. We got to be careful again, guys. Can't be eating off everybody's table. Listen, everything gets abused. Money gets abused. Governments get abused. Religions get abused. People get abused. If the DSA think that their organization is not going to abuse people, it will happen with them too. It will happen under any form of government, because that is just a thing that happens under the complexity of human life here on earth. And nobody say that a government was built for corruption. Just because one corrupt official or two or 100 corrupt officials, nobody say that government was built in its original attempt to exploit people. That's just not how that happened. That's like saying that a knife was created to murder in its original intent, whereas the knife can do many things. And I'm sure that in its original intent, somewhere in the beginning, that it was created to help cut things. People, before they had the houses and all those things, they needed to cut the ropes. They needed to cut the little hay in the land or whatever. They needed to cut the fish. But just because it was used for someone, took it and used it to harm someone, doesn't mean that capitalism was created to harm people. Cars kill people every day, you guys, and nobody say that the car was designed to crash and kill people. How something gets used is not why it was built. So I want you guys to take the time and understand that this page only talks about who gets the profit. It skips who takes the loss. All right. And most small businesses, if you know anything about business, they fail within the first year. Some 85 to 92%, I think it is, and maybe 95. I'm not sure of that number, but you guys can go look into it. But most of them fail. And only counting the winners isn't telling the whole story. The same with capitalism. So listen, you guys, if you enjoy this show, if you're enjoying it so far, then hit that like and subscribe button. That's how this channel gets in front of people. But let's get back to it. So another thing I want to point out is that this page, it never asks the question, and you don't find it here. If capitalism was designed on purpose, right? Then who is the owning class? What are their names? Where did the meeting take place? Where did this happen at? I would like to know. I don't know about you guys, but I would like to know. I would like to know, who are these people? Where was the meeting at? Was it in Vienna? Was it in somewhere in China? Was it in Africa? Did it happen in Europe somewhere? Where was the meeting at? Because if capitalism was designed on purpose by an owning class, then I want to know who these people were. I want to know who they are. And, because design, that tells me that somebody planned it. Somebody planned it out, and they had a blueprint, and I want to see the blueprint. I think you should want to see the blueprint. You guys, you should ask them when you go to these meetings, where's the blueprint? All right. So, yeah, capitalism can be abused. Exploitation happens. That's just part of real life. That's part of us, being human on the earth. Things happen. No, we're not arguing if the system is flawless or not. Right now, we're asking the question, who was it designed by? Because right after that first sentence you guys have on this website, and the DSA website is here, it says we must replace capitalism with democratic socialism. And before I could even get to that next part, which we're going to go over in another video, but I'm still on this first part, because you're telling me that there's this owning class, and then there's the rest of us. This owning class created something, a system that we're in, and saying that this system that we're in over here in the United States is harming everybody that's here. So, yeah, I need to know, because a claim this size, it needs real evidence. and not just a confident sentence. We want to know. And saying this with conviction, because this sentence is written here without conviction. They are saying it with their chest poked out. And again, people abusing a system that isn't the same as the system existing to cause abuse. So yeah, if you're into videos like this, I would love to have you guys be a part of our show. I would love to have you guys checking in and adding your check to this, because this is my check. I've given you my check. And if you want the truth instead of the noise, then subscribe to the noise check, because we don't just like pause at the reaction. We check the noise. I am Arlington Jr. Thank you guys for joining the show, and God bless.